Undertale is the result of a successful crowdfunding campaign by Toby Fox, a game developer who created this simple-looking RPG almost entirely on his own. But don't let appearances fool you, because underneath Undertale is a surprisingly intricate and earnest RPG that aims to break many video game conventions, and even a heart or two. This is the story of a world divided between humans and monsters. After waging war on one another, the humans emerged victorious and sealed the monsters deep underground. You play a small child who, as foretold by prophecy, falls into this strange underworld and must find your way home to the surface. It's an interesting fairy tale-esque setup that had me expecting the usual tropes of fantasy creatures and dungeon puzzles. How shocked I was then when confronted with everything but. Within the first hour, I was murdered by a sadistic flower, given a mobile phone by my newly adopted cow mother, and handed out compliments to an insecure frog. The last of these actually turning out to be a core mechanic of Undertale, but I'll come back to that. What I can't stress enough is just how absurd this game starts out, before continuing to grow even more so as the story continues. And even with its initially underwhelming art style, there's a curious dreamlike quality to the world. Taking cues from games like the Earthbound series, there's a delightful madness to the creature design and the areas you'll explore. It almost has a touch of a Miyazaki film to it. And it's all set to an amazing soundtrack that, again, was just created by the one developer, Toby Fox. Along your journey, you'll also meet up with a pair of skeletons with the same name as the font they type with, a literal guard dog who only wants to be petted, and even a flamboyant celebrity killer robot with delusions of grandeur. To help complement these characters, there's some really great humorous writing, which, when you consider just how much dialogue there is in this game, because there is a lot, it really helps the chatter from becoming too tedious. This same writing also finds its way into the combat, which is handled through a rather unique battle system. After encountering a monster, you can choose to either attack outright or select from a number of more passive options that can eventually help you resolve the encounter should you select them in the correct order. It adds an element of puzzle solving to the fights, as well as maintaining that absurdity and humour that's in the game. For instance, some characters can be flirted with, others might ask to clean you, while some just want to chat. However, some of these solutions can feel a little too cryptic, resulting in just spamming the fight button to get it over with quickly. Whichever option you select, you'll still have to deal with incoming attacks. Controlling a small heart within a confined space, you're tasked with avoiding a whole array of projectiles in the style of a bullet hell shooter, each wave usually representative of the monster attacking you. It's a surprisingly imaginative mechanic that keeps evolving as you meet new and stranger creatures. You can also replenish your health points with items, as well as equip weapons and armor in a simple menu, which all feel like standard RPG elements. But while you will earn gold between fights, the only way to earn XP and level up is to destroy monsters instead of sparing them. This anomaly feels unimportant at first, but eventually reveals itself to play a much larger part in the game's overarching story. Eventually, conversations will alter based on your actions and can result in some truly poignant and sad moments. Characters that at first seemed pesky and annoying can become close companions, and areas of the game that once felt disconnected and totally random start to piece themselves together and fill out this charming and somber world. It's such a subtle transition that creeps up on you as you progress, and before long you'll start to feel attached to even the smallest of encounters. In fact, as I neared the end of the game, I realised I'd become far more invested in this story than I'd ever planned to be. Which couldn't have come at a better time, as the game practically forces you to sit down and replay it in order to reach the real ending. So, will I be returning to Undertale to right my wrongs and try again? Honestly, I'm still not quite sure. A lot of the enjoyment I felt the first time around with this game was from just how delightfully unexpected everything was, and I'm not quite sure that that would hold up in a second playthrough, even with the promise of new dialogue and different choices to make. However, this is a game that has really stuck with me, to the point that I genuinely feel some longing to be back in this odd and friendly world. I'm giving Undertale 3.5 stars.